In the Pacific Ocean, just off the coast of Chile, lies the rainforest of Tentaco Park. This private reserve spans roughly 1,180 square kilometers and preserves pristine Valdivian temperate forests that have remained untouched since the last ice age. Many endangered species, such as the southern Darwin's frog, named after Charles Darwin, or also known as the Rhinoderma darwinii, used to find Tentaco Park as a safe haven, until the chytrid fungus outbreak, which started getting noticed in the late 1990s, killed many amphibians in the park. This includes the southern Darwin's frog, which is classified as endangered by the IUCN Red List. The chytrid fungus outbreak forced the Zoology Society of London to launch a rescue mission to save the southern Darwin's frog from this terrible fungus. The Zoology Society of London hired 4 researchers that are very capable for the job to obtain this frog and to keep it from going extinct. The researchers will achieve their goal by keeping the southern Darwin's frog in a safe environment, in a place called London Zoo, before it can be released back into the wild again. Now meet the 4 researchers: Joe, Bob, Olivia, and Falafel. The southern Darwin's frog is a rare and intriguing amphibian, as it is one of the only species on Earth that uses its vocal sac for parental care. For preparation for their task to catch Darwin's frog, the researchers find information on common relatives of the Darwin's frog and how to differentiate each type of frog from their appearance. A common genus relative which the southern Darwin's frog had was called the northern Darwin's frog, or also known as the Rhinoderma ruffian. The last sighting of the northern Darwin's frog was in 1981. Unfortunately, since then it is believed to be extinct, but the southern Darwin's frog does have a family relative, which is called the Barrios frog, or also known as the Instrophenus capricus, which is also critically endangered and also lives in the Valdivian temperate rainforest just like its family counterpart. Instrophenus is a monotypic genus of frogs in the family Rhinodermatae. This means that the genus Instrophenus has only one species linked to it. The southern Darwin's frog has a longer and more pointy snout than the Barrios frog. The coloration of the Darwin's frog is also different from the Barrios frog, as it has green and brown colors that mimic a leaf-like pattern, while the Barrios frog is more uniform-like with less patterns on its skin. Southern Darwin's frog is found in the biological hotspot of the Valdivian temperate rainforests of Chile and South Argentina, about 3,600 feet above sea level, but it also lives in glades, bogs, and shady areas. These temperate rainforests have heavy precipitation with 1,300 to more than 2,600 milliliters of annual rainfall per square inch. The temperature of the frog's ecosystem is relatively stable, with an average temperature only ranging from 13 Celsius to 21 Celsius. Being a hotspot, it has a high number of endemic species, such as birds like the John Fernandez firecrown and also plants like the monkey puzzle tree. The trees abundant in these rainforests are mainly evergreen angiosperms, which bear fruit or nuts and are mainly deciduous, while the forest floor has lush, dense vegetation. The ecosystem is also characterized by a high level of water flow, high humidity, and sunlight blocked by trees to make a partly shady forest floor. Tomorrow, our team of 4 researchers will go out into the Valdivian temperate rainforest and hope to find and capture the southern Darwin's frog.
24 hours later.
After a short boat ride, the team of 4 reached the Caleta Inyo boat dock with cages to catch the frogs. While taking a hike through the forest, the environment could be carefully observed. The environment the frogs were to be put in, both during the boat ride and back at home, had to fit them well. Analyzing the environment along with previous research helped to determine the details. Darwin's frogs are ectothermic and poikilothermic since they are cold-blooded amphibians. Their water-permeable skin plays a major role in maintaining homeostasis because it allows for water intake. Access to water is crucial for frogs because they use it as a way to cool down their skin through evaporation, which is why the environment had to have plenty of water. On top of that, the frog's body temperature depends on the environment, so the frogs had to be put in a suitable temperature. With this information, the group of researchers had made sure that the containers used to transport the frogs and the environment for the frogs at London Zoo were perfect for them. Researchers had also previously observed Darwin's frogs' eating habits. After analyzing the stomach content of recently dead Darwin's frogs, they were able to come to the conclusion that Darwin's frog is a secondary consumer that tends to eat small insects and other invertebrates, like mosquitoes, flies, crickets, grasshoppers, and ants. They are carnivores, specifically insectivores, and use a sit-and-wait predation strategy. But, although they are consumers, they also have to hide from their own predators. Darwin's frogs are able to camouflage with leaves and debris on the forest floor because of their brownish tan skin and leaf-like shape. This structural adaptation makes them suitable for their ecosystem because their appearance helps them stay hidden from predators. An interesting physiological adaptation that the male frogs have is that they use their vocal sac to carry their tadpoles. These tadpoles then later develop into juvenile frogs. The vocal sacs protect their young from predators and harsh environmental conditions. Darwin's frog also acts dead whenever it is attacked by a predator so that the frog might be seen as a dead leaf. These intriguing adaptations are taken note of, and soon enough, the team encounters these frogs in the wild. Even though Darwin's frog's skin tone and patterning allow them to camouflage with leaf litter, the team is trained to identify the frogs based on previous observations. After a bit, the group is able to get their hands on a variety of these frogs. Frogs of different sizes, some males, some females, and some even tadpoles. The frogs are brought back to the boat, and the team heads off for the frog's new home.
After bringing the frog back to the London Zoo, the team of 4 continue to closely monitor the behavior and activities of these frogs in their new environment that mimics their old one. The researchers are now focused on the frog's reproduction. Joe learned that the species reproduces by the males making sounds with their vocal sacs to attract females. Then the females and the males mate together to fertilize eggs. The females lay the egg in a moist place where it won't dry out. The male would then swallow the frog into its vocal sac for safekeeping. The tadpoles would then develop inside and would feast on the remaining yolk of the egg in the vocal sac that the male swallowed. Then, after the tadpoles have developed into juveniles, they are spit out from the dad's mouth and the cycle repeats. The main physiological and behavioral adaptation in this species is when the female lays the eggs and the male swallows it for parental care. The male uses his vocal sac to take care of his tadpoles, unlike other frogs. This is a structural adaptation, as the male has a vocal sac inside its mouth that is used to take care of eggs. They also fertilize the eggs externally instead of internally. This is an example of behavioral adaptation, as like other frogs, Darwin's frogs has the behavior that it would climb onto a female's back to fertilize the eggs. The researchers then got to watch Darwin's frog reproduce. Back at the research center, the group of researchers present their findings to the rest of the scientists in the London Zoo. The researchers explain the significance of Darwin's frog and what it can do to an ecosystem. Although it may not seem like it, these frogs play a crucial role in the Valdivian temperate rainforest. Their diets mainly consist of mosquitoes, flies, crickets, grasshoppers, and ants. By eating these insects, Darwin's frogs help keep the ecosystem in balance. To add on to this, the Valdivian temperate forests are a hotspot for biodiversity and high levels of endemic species, which is why they are an important part of South America's landscape. Darwin's frog, an endemic species, contribute to this biodiversity. Biodiversity is a supporting service because it maintains a healthy ecosystem. According to the way researchers think, even though Darwin's frogs going extinct might not have much impact, individual species make up the ecosystem and multiple lost species can contribute to a serious issue. The Valdivian temperate rainforests and the species they contain also provide cultural services to the indigenous Mapuche people and provide provisioning services in the form of food, water, and wood. Even though Darwin's frogs are safe for now in the London Zoo, the researchers wish to bring this frog back to their natural environment after their population numbers come back. To do this, they must first stop the human activities that cause the endangerment of our species. Olafo first identified the human activities that are caused in the endangerment of Darwin's frog. The species is endangered mainly because of habitat loss and degradation. Their main habitat is in the Valdivian temperate rainforests of Chile, which is getting smaller due to humans destroying habitat for tree plantations, therefore fragmenting the ecosystem and causing deforestation. Because of this habitat degradation, the remaining populations of Darwin's frogs are severely fragmented. One density-independent factor that is hurting the population of southern Darwin's frogs is climate change, which has a major impact on their population. Climate change is rapidly shrinking the temperate rainforests that many of these frogs live in. All of these factors are slowly causing the decline of Darwin's frog. After examining data from human intervention, the group has concluded that if nothing is done to help this species, they could potentially go extinct. Olivia noticed that the citrid fungus is one density-dependent factor that is limiting population growth. Citrid fungus targets keratinized skin layers, which causes chytridiomycosis. Chytridiomycosis caused by citrid fungus is an example of a density-dependent natural factor that limits population growth. This is common in amphibians, especially frogs, as the fungi damages nervous systems and skin. Damage in the skin can lead to difficulty for the frogs to breathe or respirate. This can kill the frog over time as the fungi targets the keratin in the frog's skin. Even though the process of bringing back the population of southern Darwin's frog in Tentacle Park is incomplete, the team of researchers are relieved that they were able to rescue so many Darwin's frogs.
Of the 55 rescued Darwin's frogs, only 2 were found to be infected with the chytrid fungus. Remarkably, 33 offsprings were born, carried by the 11 dedicated males in their vocal sac. Now thriving in the care of the London Zoo, these frogs represent hope for the future. If a cure for the chytrid fungus is discovered, their descendants might one day reclaim their place in the forest of Tentacle Park, bringing this rare species back to its natural home.